Hello again. My dreams are full of strange ideas, but my mind is set. So beside my fears, we're going to make a fruit cake, a family fruit cake. We're going to scale up the recipe that we've been using, add fruit obviously, talk about the fruit, just basic. In fact, this is Tesco's everyday value, basic dried mixed fruit. It's got everything in there: sultanas, currants, raisins. Got some peel in there. Great value, does the job brilliantly. Why do anything else? With all of this stuff, I'm trying to get you, because you might have failures and things like that. So if you don't spend too much money, you don't feel too bad. So that's the fruit we're using. What I've done with it, I'll show you what I've done with it later on when we actually put it into the mix. Let's get it out of the way. The tray we're using, trusty IKEA little roasting tin, sweet little thing. All in one. When it's done, we'll slice it up. There's I've greased it, and I've put a bit of baking parchment in the bottom to get it to turn out properly. Now, once again, beauty of IKEA is this isn't so expensive, which means you can get two of them. This one is the one that goes in the bottom of the oven. I showed you on chocolate. Have a look at chocolate if you haven't looked at it. Full of boiling water on the floor of the oven gives you a nice steamy atmosphere. So that's how we're going to do that. Put that down there for now. Right, so let's get going. The recipe. You should be getting used to the idea now of how we work up a recipe. I measured that tin. It's a 3-egg tin, 3-egg mix. So we've got 3 eggs there. Weigh them all together. They come to 187 grams. So that means we need 187 grams of flour. And you're ahead of me, I know. You'll go and get on with it. 180 grams of caster sugar. This is golden caster sugar, just to give it a slightly nicer taste. Or not nicer, I mean sugar, but you know what I mean. And 187 grams of stalk, perfect for cakes. So that's the basic recipe again. Got bits and bobs, but this is the basic recipe. Now, the star of the show. I want to introduce you to someone that I've known or something that I've known for 32 years. And there we go. There it is. Yeah, my old Kenwood chef. As I said, I bought this 32 years ago. It's still going strong. It comes, it's done Christmas puddings. It's done a lot of Christmas puddings. A lot of Christmas puddings over the years. And I'm dreading that. I hope I go before this does, because I don't know what I'm going to do without it. And the new ones, I don't know if the new ones are as good. I expect they are, but this is my trusty Kenwood chef. So let's get going. Enough of waffle. Flour in. Sugar in. In, stalk in. Let's get that in. Now, because this is obviously 3 times the size, it's going to take a bit more mixing. I'm going to cut away and come back to it once it's mixed. So that's the basic ingredients. Now, we're using 3 eggs. So we need half a tablespoon of baking powder per egg. So you can either do it like I do with 1, 2. So it's 3 halves. Obviously it's 1 1/2. But that's it. That's the baking powder. Let's put this in now. Going to put a little bit of spice in. We've got some ginger and we've got some cinnamon. So let's put in a teaspoon of each. There you go. If you don't like cinnamon or ginger, just leave them out. It doesn't make a lot of difference. It's just that, remember, I put some salt in the sponge. It's just to stop it being sort of bland. There we go. So that's all the dry goods in there. We do the mix and then we put the fruit in. So let's get these babies in. All going well so far. The beauty of the Kenwood is that it has this slow, you can put it on its slowest speed and it just grinds away and just incorporates, and it's just stirring. It's not actually beating air into it at this moment. We'll do that in a minute. So I'm probably going to cut away because this will be loud. So see you in a minute. Right, so that's basically just stirred, hasn't sort of been beaten at all. I'm going to give a little wudge it down from the sides, just to make sure it's all... Oh my gosh, I've got some mix on my hand, what am I to do? That's good. Right, we're just going to put a splash. Remember the old, seen this? Just a splash, 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 because it's a little bit doughy. Doesn't matter. You want it on a fruit mix. Keep it a little bit dry. Now I'm going to whiz this a bit to get it nice. Right, once again, that's getting quite airy, and it goes, whenever you whisk or whip or whatever, beat air into something, it usually goes lighter, paler, and that's really nice. So I think the machine bit of that is done. Oh dear. Anything, get that off of there. Yep. It's done. Take off of there. Right, so just a quick word about the fruit. I showed you the fruit, it's just basic fruit, you see it everywhere, everyone does it. What's the biggest problem with a fruit cake? The fruit sinks. It sinks to the bottom. So what we do is two things. Now you can either up the flour in the recipe, but we don't want to do that because we've got our recipe. We love our recipe. Weigh the egg, blah blah blah, right? So we want to incorporate a bit more flour in and stop the fruit sinking. And one of the best tips is to coat the fruit in flour. Just put some flour in a bowl or a tray like this. This is great because you put a lid on it, give it a shake, leave it for a bit, give it another shake, leave it for a bit more, give it another shake. 3 shakes. 3 is always the magic number, everybody knows that. By the way, the quantity, see, I'm rubbish at presenting. The recipe was 187 grams. 187 grams eggs, 187 grams flour, sugar, stalk, and 187 grams of fruit. It's picked up its own flour, so it slightly adds to that. So you've killed 2 birds with 1 stone. This shouldn't sink, and it's added a bit more flour to that. So that goes in, and we just fold that in. Just make sure. What you do is you just keep folding until there isn't any dusty fruit on top of the mixture. So you know that it's all incorporated in lovely. And that is pretty much done. Didn't take too long, did it? As I say, this is a nice family cake. It keeps for quite a while in a tin. Only days, but it probably, if you've got people who are going to eat it, they'll eat it before it goes off. Believe me. Right, so let's put it in a tin. Trying to do this so you can see. Right, there we go. Look at that lovely, lovely mixture. The cinnamon and the ginger is really cool. It doesn't take much to make something that people go, oh, this is nice. Because you've just put one little magic thing in there. In this case, the cinnamon and the ginger. And remember, this isn't a full-on fruit cake. This is a fruit sponge. So it's nice and light. It's great for kids. Kids don't like those heavy, Dundee cake type things. Grown-ups do, usually, because you put some whiskey in them. But so they like nice light things. Get their little hands around them. And that is it. I might have to lick that later. Right, that's it. Goes in the oven. Goes in the oven for half an hour. I'll be looking at that. Maybe, take a little bit longer, but I reckon do a good half hour, go away, read a book, and that's it. Now, that's sort of it for this section on sponges. So, if you've seen all 3, you've got the idea of how the recipe works. The first one will make a Victoria sponge, but we made a golden syrup, but it's the same thing. If you look at the chocolate one, then apply that backwards, you can make a Victoria sponge. So now, if you don't do anything else, but you watch these 3, you've then got a little armoury of 3 lovely cakes. You've got a golden syrup, you've got a chocolate cake, and a fruit cake. And you can bring them, and they're sort of different, types and everything like that. And you can bring them out, and people will think you've got this back catalogue of cakes that you can, and all you've got is 3 recipes. And you carry those 3 recipes with you, and they will always hold you in good stead. So, I hope you've enjoyed watching things. Could you please share it? Get the word out, get the share. I mean, you might be thinking, this is rubbish, I'm a much better baker than he is. Probably you are. But it'd be nice to get some more people baking, get back to cooking a bit of food. It's not a big deal. We've gone too far. There are now we've lost generations of bakers, in It's like there are now mums, and now there are even grandmothers who don't know how to bake, and they're not passing any of that on. So let's pass some stuff on. Let's get it going again, and it's really good fun. It's not expensive. You can, whenever I see a new recipe, I look at it and I go, oh my God, that's about 20 quid's worth of ingredients. So I'm not going to do that and have it go wrong for the first 2 or 3 times, because that's what will happen. I always say, there's somebody I know who baked a full-on fruitcake, and it was very expensive, used some of the best products you could possibly get, and burnt it because they didn't know. They weren't really familiar with their oven. They didn't know about covering. If you need to, on a long bake, you have to cover the top of the cake with foil at some point. Usually it's towards the end to stop it burning, because you're still trying to get into all this moist stuff in the middle. You don't do that, you're 20 quid down. Now the thing is, a lot of people give up at that point, but don't give up, because it's worth doing. Please, if you like the stuff I've been doing, can you share or subscribe and share and get the word out? Really want some people to see these. Thank you ever so much for watching, if you have watched these. I love you all, so bye bye.